welcome back to Words with Wayman. I am your host, as always, Matt Wayman. Thank you so much for tuning in. Support us on Patreon, everybody. Patreon is a crowdsourcing website for funds to run creative projects, so check us out, Words with Wayman, on Patreon. Let's get back into it, guys. We got a nice little part 2 with St. Louis musician, comedian, actor, Mr. Adam Hoppe. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit, we were talking before the break about this new music comedy project that you're working on, which is pretty cool. What's the name of it again for everybody out there?
It is Shadam, SAH_DAM, exclamation point.
Nice. And how'd you guys come up with the name of that?
It's myself and Shannon Yarborough, so we cut up Shannon and then cut up Adam. And that's
Love
what
it.
You get. Yeah.
Perfect. What do you guys do? What's the concept of it?
The concept is it's almost like a parody act, but it's a stripped down version of popular songs.
Nice.
We've got a few of them. We've got one that's in the key of the song "A Little Bit of Soul" by Music Explosion.
Cool.
Yeah, it's about pubes.
Nice. So are it more like blue stuff?
Blues, rock and roll.
Cool. And you play guitar and he does the singing?
Yes, and I do some backing vocals.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so much fun. There's such a good place for music and comedy. I feel like it gets a bad rap a lot of the time, and I love it too much. Do you guys think, were you taking it at one time?
We've taken it out one time. We had a show where we each did stand-up at a cigar shop in Sunset Hills.
Cool.
And awesome show, by the way. Tom Brown, local comedian, was doing that show and invited me on. So that was a good time. And we never brought this outside of the house yet. So the only person to ever hear this was Shannon's roommate, John. That was the only person to hear it. And yeah, we felt pretty confident about it. We brought it out, and it went way better than expected. Everybody enjoyed themselves, and yeah, I think we're going to go further with it.
That's awesome. You should. That's a nerve-wracking one, because I feel like, if you take it out a couple times and it doesn't do well, it's a harder one to do, because it's like you're taking on a lot. You're playing music in front of people and trying to make them laugh. But I'm sure it felt really good when they were enjoying it.
Yeah, and Shannon's just an unbelievable showman.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen him, and yeah.
That's cool. How'd that come about? Were you guys like, what was that conversation like?
He knew that I played music, so he messaged me on Facebook and said, "Hey, I've got this idea. Do you want to talk before open mic and discuss it a little bit?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And so he put the idea in my head, and initially I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know how this is going to work out, and I'm the kind of person that I don't like to turn down opportunities. I was like, let's see where this goes. And yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised with
what's the worst case scenario? Like, you get together a couple times and you just don't like how the sound's coming out,
Yeah, worst case is that.
And then you just don't do anything about it. Best case scenario
is that we rock the house.
Right?
The best case.
Deals, demos, limos, straight to the top.
Yes.
Triple platinum. That's super fun. That's kind of all-encompassing, too, if you think about it, because if you started off playing in bands and then kind of did the more web series into comedy, and now it's music and comedy. What does your wife think about your comedy? Or your fiancé, excuse me.
She enjoys my comedy. She's very supportive of it. Anything I do, she would be supportive of.
That's awesome.
That's why I asked her to marry me.
Yeah. That's super cool. I didn't tell my wife I did stand up until like a year in, just because I was like, I don't want her to see me blow it super, super hard. We were talking before, and you said your wife saw you the first time you ever did it, which is tough, I'm sure.
It is, and again, she was very supportive, and I ran through my material with her more times than she would probably care to hear.
The same thing. You kind of do need some. It's tough. Stand-up's a weird thing. Did you do it in the mirror before, too?
I've tried doing it in the mirror, and it just felt weird to me doing it that way.
Yeah, it is weird. I'm sure you came from doing music, so I'm sure you had a microphone in your hand probably, right?
Yes.
The feeling thing, but when nobody's there, it's not the same. It'll never be the same. Like, you can practice songs as a band in front of people, or in front of nobody, and it's the same thing as if you're going to be playing them in front of people.
Yeah, because at least you got some people to bounce ideas off of, and if one guy's like, that sounds like crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, you only have yourself like, I think this is funny. Maybe other people think this is funny.
And then you rehearse it, and you're like, this seems like it's crap. Let's see. What are your career goals as far as stand-up goes?
My career goals as it goes now is to get on as many shows as I can, just develop my comedy, and if I'm able to make a little money off of it, so be it, but I'm not doing it for the money, so that's why I enjoy doing it. Mm-hmm. If anybody's doing comedy for the money, get out now.
Yeah. That's a fantastic point, mainly because you're not going to probably get to the money for years and years, and if you're worrying about the money, a lot of times you're not worrying about the stuff that actually matters. Plus, man, the money is so meager for years.
Yes.
$200 a month tops, and that's probably if you run an open mic somewhere. Have you ever run any shows?
I have not run any shows.
Is that something you think you want to get into?
It'd be an option. Yeah, it's just about finding the right place and the right people.
Yeah, because you said that's such a. I mean, the good thing about St. Louis is it's so spread out, and there's so many different areas that there's so many cool places to have comedy shows and stuff like that. It's got to have a weird concept, I guess, or something like that. Are you always going to want to stay in St. Louis as far as your career is concerned?
I think a lot of that has to do with, where my job is going to take me, and my fiance, she's in nursing school right now, so
okay,
we'll see where that takes her.
Nice. So St. Louis is a great place to do comedy, and there's a bunch of other ones as well. Have you traveled at all for your comedy?
I've been to Chicago once. Did one mic there, and
nice.
It was a good time because it was nothing but comedians hanging out, but they've never seen me, never heard my stuff, so that's always good. It's comedians that see your stuff all the time. They're like, I'm getting bored of this.
It's hard because you have to work on something so many times until it gets good, though, and the only people that a lot of times are at the mic are the comedians, so that's just kind of a byproduct of the whole thing. My whole thing is like, do I want them fake laughing even though they've heard this joke 100 times, or do I just want them not to laugh if they really don't think it's funny?
I would rather get tips afterwards, if anything. And sometimes you're friends with comics and be like, hey, this would work better if you did this a certain way, or if you did that a certain way.
I feel like that's a good thing, but some people I feel like get upset about it. Like,
yeah, people do. There are some people that don't like to be critiqued. I'm a man that loves being critiqued.
That's probably just why I think it's not more prevalent in stand-up these days. Because, musicians do it, and you would think you could just be like, hey, tighten that punchline up. Or, give people punchlines. That's what I think is the coolest.
Yeah. Give somebody a little tag for their joke or something. Yeah.
Or even if not, you're just going to be like, don't come up and say you hated the joke. Come up and be like, hey, there's this punchline that could work better. And you're like, and I would love that. Mainly because I wouldn't have to write as much after that.
Yeah, exactly. Get other people to write it for you.
What is your dream, say, like 10 years from now, 5 years from now, your career is going exactly how you want it? What would your life look like? My
life would be me in Nepal.
Nice. Big comedy hub.
I'm going to open up comedy in Nepal is what's going to happen. Just telling jokes to Buddhist monks, and they think I'm the greatest.
Yeah. They don't laugh, but they do something else that's even louder than laughing and gives you more energy.
They give me a soulful touch, and I don't know what that entails, but...
You've said 2 vaguely sexual things on this podcast thus far, and I'm into that. Have you ever traveled to Nepal before?
I have not. It looks interesting to me.
It seems fun.
Yeah.
If 7 years in Tibet has taught us anything, it's that it's a cool place to be over there. Is that Nepal?
What? Brad Pitt, right?
Oh, yeah.
Brad, yeah.
Can't get lost in those eyes for a couple hours. What have you done traveling in your years?
I've done quite a bit of traveling. I took a trip alone to the West Coast.
Nice.
And initially, I was like, I'm going to take a vow of silence while I'm on this road trip. And I made it to a toll booth in Texas and doing good with the silence for, I'd say it was like 16 hours at that point. I'm not sure what the time frame was. But the woman at the toll booth was like, hey, how's it going? I said, hey, just great. And I was like, damn it, toll booth lady.
Good. Deborah ruined it for you. You almost... That's insane. I don't think I could do it. I talk to myself sometimes. 16 hours is probably longer than any time that I've ever gone, so I commend you for being able to go that long. What was with the idea behind being silent? Just sort of a restorative effect?
I just thought maybe I talk too much, or it's something I've never tried, and I like to challenge myself.
Yeah.
So that was like, I've never done this before. I'm going to try this.
Yeah. Have you ever done like any meditation or any stuff like that?
I practice meditation on a daily basis.
Nice. What? How do you meditate?
Just mindfulness. Focus on my breathing.
Nice.
Sit cross-legged.
Have you ever done yoga?
I do yoga probably about once a week.
Nice. Now we're getting to the good stuff.
Yeah,
Getting down in there. My wife is a still certified yoga teacher, so I've done yoga for a while. And I think meditation, which I've been more getting into recently, has huge, huge benefits. How have you found that it has helped you?
It helps me to focus on the present rather than, what do I got to do today? And it's when you're focusing on what's going on in the future, you're not keeping yourself in the now.
Yeah. So do you just try to like kind of clear your mind and get everything out of there, and just if stuff comes in, you kind of just let it come in?
Yeah, I let it, just friends saying, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like,
yeah.
Go away, friend.
Yeah, kind of just trying to get away and focus on nothingness.
Yes.
Nice. And what does your nothingness look like? Mine is whenever is like up all the way up in the clouds, super high, where nobody can get to me. My
nothingness is a big black room.
Nice. That's your punk rock attitude coming back out. We did a thing together for Denver Phone It In Film Festival, which was I think the first time we ever worked together creatively. Which thank you for doing that as well. I had an idea. You were a great actor. What do you attribute that to?
The way that I think about acting is the Beatles song "Act Naturally." Except that it's just the title that I focus on. Like, when I act, I've never had any acting classes. It's just, whoever comes with me with an idea or I have an idea.
Yeah.
I try to act as natural as possible. And that seems to work the best for me.
Yeah, I think that's the best way. I feel like there's absolutely ways that you can like learn acting, but I feel like even when people don't act at all, it is just... How would you want somebody to... How would you you look at somebody on camera and you're like, oh, that seems natural or doesn't?
Yeah, and I've just seen so many people try to do acting where they're overacting, and I don't want to do that.
It's gross.
It's so gross.
I'm sure being on camera a lot during that web series and stuff helped as well.
It did help quite a bit. If you watch the first webisode we ever did, it's not garbage. There's some funny stuff in there, but I felt like I was going a little bit over the top with it.
But you don't know any better, and you don't want to underact it either. But I feel like the further and further I look at stuff, just underact it and just. I mean, you have to sell it a little bit, but I think you're pretty darn natural on screen. We're getting down to the end of this thing as well. I guess just my last question would be if you had any advice for anybody that's like about to start something creative here soon. A lot of people do it after the new year and stuff like that. What would your advice to them be?
Stick with it, because you're not going to know if it's good right off the bat, and things develop. Just taking time with it. Just take your time. And I think that everybody needs to have that one thing that they do creatively. Mm-hmm. You may have your job that you do to make money, but do that one thing that gets you out of yourself, just even if it's for an hour a week. Just go out and do something creative. Yeah,
there's huge benefits that can be said, and just overall psychological benefits by just getting outside of your head and looking at stuff different. I guess that's gonna definitely, we're gonna wrap this thing up. Where can people find you at on the interwebs? I know you guys will probably start up like a YouTube channel soon for your new music project. What else do you want to plug?
I'll plug the Best Bet, Adam and Ryan, on YouTube. Pepper Jelly Pictures, all one word.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Jungle Hop.
Jungle Hop, baby.
And you can find me on the streets just working that ass.
Guys, you can find him on the streets working that ass. Thank you all so much for tuning back into Words with Wayman. Support us on Twitter, Words with Wayman, Facebook, Words with Wayman, guys. We will see you all soon.